Oh my gosh, come on in, fellow pop culture aficionado.
Or our moms.
Hi, moms. And join us on the couples couch. We saved you a seat.
We're Tanner and KB Cunningham, a married couple who dish out hilarious banter and spark interesting conversation.
From the wild world of reality TV and the furthest reaches of the internet, we're here to unpack it all. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's explore the fascinating intersectional world of pop culture. Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Couples Couch.
Good morning and welcome back to the Couples Couch.
It's Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Insert Norbit clip here.
Honestly.
Tuesday. If you didn't watch Norbit by Eddie Murphy and you're still hearing me talk about it and you still haven't watched it,
it's time.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, because we're probably never not going to bring it up on a Tuesday.
No, and like... Honestly, I watched it with my friends' kids. The first time I saw it, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I watched it with like Myra and Anjanette, and it would always be like an inside joke for us. And we did Girl Scouts together, and we went to church together, and like I just have a lot of memories with them. And Norbit is one of them. So
I love that.
Happy Tuesday, happy Norbit,
happy childhood Tuesday memory.
You're in your happy birthday sweatshirt.
I am. I'm in my New Orleans sweatshirt that KB got for me for my birthday. I love it so much. I have a very thin one that we got whenever we were in Lahaina. And it reminds me of that, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so cute on you. I don't look great in gray, so I probably won't ever be borrowing it, but like you look great in it.
Thank you. I don't love gray on myself either. It's like one of my last choices, but thank you.
Yeah, I think cool tones look better on you than me, so yeah. Happy birthday. Tanner's birthday is on Friday.
We're going to party on Friday.
It's going to be so fun.
I know. But before we party, should we give them the rhyme of the day?
Don't be tardy for the party.
Literally, Kim Zolciak. Oh, I heard before that, I want to just give a little breadcrumb. I did hear an interesting story about her. I think her and Chet Hanks, if you don't know who that is Tom Hanks' son. Uh-oh. Nepo baby, number one. He was on Traders with her. He looks like a young Corey Bierman, and apparently they hooked up. So there's like drama.
That seems accurate, and I don't want to
allegedly.
I don't want to get in too much, but Corey Bierman, this is not part of our story, so I'll give this before the rhyme of the day.
Let me just get this out of the way.
Before the rhyme of the day, Corey Bierman apparently was arrested or had to pay a fine. I think he had to pay a fine recently. Let me not speak arrest on people's lives. Something happened with Corey in the law because he has an aggressive dog that was terrorizing the neighborhood.
I didn't know this.
So yeah, I think he was just fined. He had to pay a big fine because his dog is aggressive and terrorized the neighborhood, and that's
not great.
That's not great. Get your dogs. Honestly, I wish I would have learned to train dogs as a kid, but I'll get to that later.
Yeah,
I had a little terrorizing dog.
You did, Rascal.
Rascal was
You named him aptly Rascal, though. I'm like, what did you expect giving him that name?
I don't know. I called him Rascal Dascal. It was so cute. Anyways,
the rhyme of the day.
They're selling off their artwork. And he's putting in the hard work.
Claps.
All this today on our Clickbait Culture Stories with the Couples Couch. Hi, we're Tanner and KB Cunningham. I'm KB.
Howdy, I'm Tanner.
I just think it's weird that I say we're Tanner and KB Cunningham and I'm the one who's speaking it. So they're like, who the is Tanner? Who's KB? Honestly, they're pretty gender neutral names at this point.
That's true, actually. I met a girl named Tanner 20 years ago. So it's been around. I didn't know many, but I met a little girl. I was actually a lifeguard at the time, and I must have been 16. So she was 4 and her name was Tanner. And I was so shook.
Shooketh.
Yeah.
Shooketh and cooketh. Yeah, I have not met other people named KB. So
yeah, probably.
But I have met people with my actual name, which is why I go by KB.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, people, let me just disclaim that real quick. So people always ask me about that. They're like, why do you go by KB? Why do you go by KB now? Yada, yada, yada. Especially there's people that I know are that listen to the podcast from our hometown that know me as Katie or know me as Katie Knight.
Or Katie Beth.
Or Katie Beth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my name obviously isn't even Katie, but we're not going to get into that. We don't need to get into the government of it all.
The semantics.
But I went by Katie growing up, and there was always other Katies in the room. And I was actually really good friends with multiple Katies.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was fun, a little shtick, but then you outgrow the shtick, right? You're not in high school anymore. And then you're trying to figure out how to separate yourself. And then you I just switched to Katie Beth in college.
Okay,
I was I'm going to be Katie Beth because there's always going to be 17 Katies in the room. And I went to college with one of my close friends at that time was also named Katie.
Right.
And so it was just let me try and switch it up. And so in college I started it a little bit, but actually when I did Teach for America, I just took it on because I was I'm leaving. I'm getting a new identity. I don't even know this girl. That's not what happened at all. I was so much, it's so hard for me not to be myself.
Right.
But yeah, you evolve and change. And you're like, I'm just going to be Katie Beth full time. My license plate said it. Like, it was just very common. And then when I moved, I just started going by KB. Like in the middle of South Carolina, I just started going by KB. And there was always so many Katies in the office. And so KB used to be my fun name and Katie would be my work name.
Oh, I love that.
And so KB, like my friends would call me KB, like that, like I met in South Carolina and that like I moved on like to Colorado with, they would all call me KB. But the actual, like when I'd be at work, I'd be like, hi, I'm Katie Knight. And so it was like my persona. And then I was like, bump the persona. I feel most like KB. I'm going to be KB.
Yeah. No need to separate the two, right? Like the professionalism and the actual, you can coincide in the same space. So no, I love that.
No, and literally people only know me as KB. Like, it's so weird. Like, yeah. Like like most of the people that know me now know me as that. So if you wondered, like that's that.
Whom amongst us hasn't had a name change? That's all I have to say.
No, yes. And we won't get fully into that, but I love that story.
Yeah,
we don't have to. It's so special. I love to tell it to like the people that we're close with and like at dinners and things like that. But it's something special.
Saving it for the book.
Save it for the book. Like I have so many things to say for the book, like literally. Cult speeches and all kinds of things.
No, I know.
So let's keep it cooking.
Keep it cooking. So what did we get up to yesterday after the pod?
After the pod, honestly, I did not feel good yesterday. And so I did some work for a little bit. I worked for like 4 hours for like my actual job. Like if you all wondered, I do have an actual job. We have actual jobs. Yeah. We just like, Tanner is actually like more of a freelance business owner creator, which is really cool. Like I've loved seeing your evolution and I'm just honestly giving so much of us today. So you all are so welcome because the stories are kind of like meh. Us. Look at me, key changing always.
No, never stays in key with me. I love to see it.
I'm always like, you want to take it up 3 octaves?
I'm like, indeed, I don't.
Yeah. And that's like a common occurrence at our house. But what was I talking about?
No clue. I lost the thread.
I lost the thread too.
Shoot, what were we talking about? Let's think. Freelance work and doing those
freelance
things.
work. So if
and
you
have
didn't
a full-time job, you worked, you didn't feel well. That's where we were all going with this.
Like, okay, I didn't feel well, but I was just like, if I had to work my actual job, which I love my actual job. Like it's how we get to travel and do so many things, but I actually get to do things that I love. Like teaching is so fun to me, but like I love teaching adults and working with adults. And it's so fun to like see their lights tick and to like break it down like you did when you were a kid. Like that's what I always say. Like the teachers in the room are the biggest kids I know, and they struggle to focus the most. They struggle to like dive in the most. And so like sharing those things with people and like uncovering things and learning about that is so cool to me. Like, so I'll say all that to say I love my job and breaking down things to like make schools better. Cause at the end, like it's going to our future, which is the kids.
For sure.
And the kids always know.
Definitely.
And Tanner went through like a huge job change and then started like thinking about like, what does he want to do? So he like started his own business. And since we've also started like a full creator business, and he's actually like the genius behind this podcast and like the whole idea about it. Like he just kept bringing it up and he would talk about it. He'd be like, yeah, I really enjoyed this podcast. He's like, have you ever thought about podcasting? Like he would just bring it up like really kindly and just be like, what about like, he's like, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And then I was just like, do you want a podcast? How did you interpret it?
I think for me, it was more like a lot of the times growing up or like whenever I was younger, I was never really asked like, what's your opinion on this? Or like, what are your thoughts? And so I was listening to these podcasts and I was like, well, honestly, my opinions and thoughts are better than these people's and like they should hear them. And so it just felt like a really easy way for me to do that in like this kind of way, like to, even though it's like dumb stuff. And that's why I love doing it, right? It's not serious. Like it's pop culture. It's just like, it's about TV. It's not it's light and bright. So it doesn't have to be like heavy or anything like that. And I enjoy that. And so for me, it was just like really about like, what are my thoughts on this? What's my opinion? Like, what do I actually think? And like expressing those.
No, I love it. And so Tanner like brought it up and expressing them. And I always love expressing like and when I feel safe, I express so much. Like, and when I don't feel safe, like you'll find me quiet in a room or you'll find me performative in a room. I know like what to say and when to say it. Like, and both skills have taken me far. But like getting to do this with you feels just like an easy, fun thing. And I just love pop culture.
I know.
Like,
same.
And it's something that we've really grown in together of like, you knew so much more about pop culture than I did of like, just like art history and culture and how things like were first started and trends and just like art. And there's so much of it that I've like loved for so long. Like I've always loved fashion and I've always been in like magazines and things like that. But I didn't understand the other elements of it and how it kind of all works together and like be really creative. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what we do, how we do it, why we do it. And we love y'all. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And then back to what we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Let me bring back that thread. I love a thread.
We love a tangent. Yeah.
Tangent Tuesdays, baby.
Definitely.
Yesterday we watched, I didn't feel good. We rested. I worked for a little bit. And then we watched Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders.
Sweethearts. Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. It's on Netflix, you guys. And it's must-watch TV, some would say.
It's so good. It's so good. Tanner's some. He didn't even take a nap in it. No. I actually fell asleep, but I was just like ill. So
no, she was, but I was sleepy, and like it's easy for me to take a nap.
Tanner literally goes, "Fine, go to sleep," and I'm like, "How does that happen?"
But my brain could not shut off because the TV was just so good. So let me get this pulled up. Now, if you don't know what this show is about, KB actually watched it back in like 2008. Like it's a reboot, yes?
Yeah. Well, it's like a reboot of something. So the show is, if you didn't watch Dallas Cowboys, on CMT, there was the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. I said Cowboys.
Cowboys.
the Cowboys. And it was called Making the Team. And you watched like all of these girls like go in and audition. And I believe it started like when I was in high school. Like this was like an ongoing thing. Like, and it happened for years and years and years and years.
And it was on CMT. I think you maybe said that, but yes.
It was on CMT. And like we watched like all these like women come to training camp, audition, try to join the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. We see them like do their work every night. We see them cry. We see them get measured. We see all the things. And I was like, oh my gosh, Tanner, you have to see this. And he's like, hold on, let me just watch this.
Yeah, KB, like we started the show and she's like, wait, this is jarring a memory stirs. And she was like, you need to see this on YouTube. We can pull it up. I'm like, no. And because you didn't sell it to me. You were like, it's like really old, grainy, yellow footage. It's going to be horrible, but these women are funny. And I was like, KB, like,
they're funny, but also horrible.
I don't want to watch that. So luckily we got the Netflix version, and it's their newest sports documentary that follows the popular squad of the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders through their 23 and 24 NFL season. They do the auditions, training camp, the final routine on the turf. And I actually read that there's a lot of backlash about it, and not even for what you would maybe think.
What do you think the backlash was for? Or should we talk about that in a minute?
No, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's really good. The first 4 episodes focus on the rookies and the veterans. So everybody year, has to compete. I was going to say every single year, there's an audition, regardless of if you've been on the squad for 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, it doesn't matter. Every year you have to do an audition. Now, with that audition, there's several components. There's like a video audition, and then they do like a floor routine, and they cut all the way through, all the way up until camp. And even at camp, they brought 44 or 48 girls to camp.
They brought 44 girls to camp.
And they only have a team for 36.
Right. So it's like people are going to get cut. And like that's what the premise of like the old show was like, are you going to make the cut? Like, are you good enough? And they get makeovers and all of these things happen. And you know what? Like I was just watching it and I was just like, it's so wild to watch again as an adult. And it's so wild to watch these women talk about women and these men talk about these women auditioning.
Right.
That like literally one of them can't even touch his toes. Like he's so fat he can't touch his toes. No, and he's literally like, is she good enough to be on this team? And I'm like, can you tie your shoe? Like that's how I felt.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Dallas Cowboys is such a huge brand. They're America's team. They are like, and actually we get to see how the lady, I can't think of her name, but
I can't either, but like anyways, she's the redheaded lady. Like if you've watched like Making the Team, it's the same redheaded lady that looks like a mix of Monica Aldama and Reba.
Yeah. And she actually kind of built the team from scratch as a very young girl and like made it is what it is today. And
she
like
curated the crap out of that.
Yeah, she did. Like got Barbie sponsorships. Like, I mean, just like things you couldn't even dream. Like a businesswoman. Like put respect on this lady's name. And I do. But she has some very like brazen like views and like things that are verging on misogyny, I would say.
I wouldn't call her a feminist.
No,
we'll say that.
Certainly not. And so that's kind of interesting and weird to digest and 2024 on our TVs, but
Yeah.
it is part of the brand and like what they do. So it kind of follows more the girls aspect of it, but they're not paying these girls like maybe $20,000-$30,000 and they're making millions of dollars off of them. It's,
like what's so interesting to me actually is them talking about bringing up the money of it is that they talked about that it's like such a privilege, and like the older ladies, like we get to hear from like alumni and like actually some moms of girls that are on the team now
currently,
and we hear from them about like how it was such a privilege, and the girls now view it as a job, and like why do they think they need to earn money for this sport was like the sentiment.
And you could like, kind of see that the girls
did anything,
right, but a lot of the girls or the girls that had left that were younger or more like our age were kind of like, this is not okay. Like,
yeah, it's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. Most of the girls work another full-time job. Like the main cheerleader girl, I don't know her name either. She is a nurse. Kelsey's a full nurse. And then she comes at 7 p.m. and performs until 12 p.m. And like, it's insane the things that these girls will go to and do to be on this team. And like, so I think that they do still view it as a privilege and like a stepping stone and a way to like elevate. But like, I can only do that a year because my stamina would not allow me to do it longer.
Well, and also just like in the name of misogyny, the owners like, well, like it's a privilege for them to do this.
Oh yeah,
like,
the woman owner is such a slap in the face.
And I'm just like, but how much money are you making off of this team, ma'am? And these people are the reason people come to your games. Does anybody, like Taylor and I were talking about this, like does anybody actually watch the Dallas Cowboys?
No,
question mark. I've seen like one person in support in the last 35 years, and I've only been on the earth for 31. Like
we honestly were assuming that the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were like an NFL cheerleading squad. We didn't even know that they had a football team that went along with it. Like we just thought they were out there performing. When I first started
watching it in 2000, like whatever. Yeah. I was like, okay, the Dallas Cowboys, like they still have a squad. No, they're just like the elite girls. They're like the they're the cheer cats of the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Some people might.
No, like they're like an athletic cheer team. You know, like that's what it feels like.
For sure. No, it is. It's like very like collegiate, like next level cheer squad vibes. And we didn't even know they had a football team, but news to us, they do.
News to us, like the men do show up, and all they do is glorify the men. And some of the, I'm just, oh my god, these girls, they just work so hard, and they're like athletes, and they're ripping their legs apart to do these drop splits for you every night, so you can come and scream and watch their pelvises hit the ground. Y'all are obsessed with that, and I say y'all, I mean we as America, like we all glorify it. I mean Dolly Parton came in at one of the bowls recently. She looked amazing. But like we all glorify it, but we don't we won't pay them for it.
Yeah.
And that's what's nasty to me, is that we'll pay these men millions of dollars, but the women that actually like have made the brand. When you think of Dallas Cowboys, do you think of the Gridiron Gang, or do you think short shorts and smiling blondes?
In the vest, yeah, all of that.
That's what you think.
For sure.
I'm just like, once again, like pay women, they deserve it.
Yeah, it's really disgusting behavior to tell these women, and it's a slap in the face to look at them and say, hey, it's a privilege for you to be out here busting your backs for us and splitting open your hips. Yeah, we're going to give you $30,000 measly dollars a year. No, thanks.
Like, do you even have health insurance?
Probably not.
And like, what's the, I was wondering too, like I would like to see their contracts, because they must, I don't know, like who's doing their glam? Like who's paying for their glam? This glam that is so intense. Like these girls beat the f out of their face.
No, for sure. But, and not even that, like, yeah, their glam, all
their
of those
upkeep.
Things. Where are they living? Like, are you paying for at least like, are you housing these girls? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it feels so wild to me.
Yeah, because on $30,000, I'll be honest, you can't live in a home.
You can't live in a home in Dallas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
going through the big D and don't mean Dallas.
I don't know. It's kind of, it's interesting, but obviously I'm going to finish it. I think we're on episode 4. There's maybe 7.
Yes, and I need to go back and watch most of episode 3 because I took a little nap.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are watching it. It's so good, and we have a prediction, and we'll see if our prediction's true.
Okay.
And our prediction's for Tudor.
Okay, so there is an alumni. She is, I think, a 4th or 5th year returning veteran, and she is in auditions. We get a little segment of her and her mom. Her mom is, what is that called? With the little machine gun? No, it's a machine gun. No, a machine gun. A Theragun, thank you.
Yeah, like you massaging your muscles with one of those things.
Yeah, those little things that like hit your muscles and help relax the tension and things. She's doing that to her butt. And
Okay.
as she's
This is a child's podcast.
no, literally the children are listening. Stop cursing. They've written in. No, I'm kidding. To her butt, and she's doing it to her butt, and as she does, she toots. And Victoria's toot, I'm like, that's going to take her out, because if this gets back to the ladies, they're so image, like, you have to be prim and proper. They would say bottom, they wouldn't say butt, KB.
They wouldn't say butt.
No, and so her toot, we think her toot will take her out. We don't know for sure. She's at training camp currently and still in the mix, but we'll see.
Yeah, in the beginning, they cut to, is her name Shelly?
Victoria. Oh, Shelly.
Shelly, is that the main girl? I don't know. Well, Victoria is connected to like the lady we've been talking about.
Yes, the redhead.
The redheaded lady that's like in charge of everything. They're connected. She's known her since she was born. Like,
yes, it's
a very sticky situation. So I'm interested to see in like how this all happens. But yeah, so that's what we did yesterday. Today on deck is we still have to watch Jersey. We haven't watched that yet. We hopefully are going to go to the pool. It's supposed to be a sunny day, and we've got some stories for you. And my favorite first story, should I start with it?
Oh, please.
Flavor Flav and Red Lobster collaborate on a menu for his favorite items.
Okay, now this had my full attention because if you don't know, a few months ago we reported about Red Lobster filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and closing several locations. They're trying to consolidate and figure the stuff out.
Yeah, because people were doing the all-you-can-eat.
I was going to say it was all due to their endless shrimp situation. And we were so confused. We were asking the CEOs and the board members, what were you doing? Like, you didn't see the revenue. Like,
right, you didn't see the money going out. Like,
and yeah.
You didn't stop the promo.
Yeah, stop the promo. So, whenever this all happened, our friend Flavor Flav, he actually went to Red Lobster, took his family, ordered the entire menu, and posted it to his Instagram. And
I love that.
Yeah, and it's just like as a way to like help them revenue. And then they used him for a promotion, and now he's doing like a contract with them. And he's going to have a Flavor Flav's Faves, an off-menu seafood fest that includes delicacies such as the Maine lobster tail, garlic strip scampi, snow crab legs, bacon mac and cheese, and a side dish.
That sounds delicious. I'm going to Red Lobster for my birthday.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But we did Google.
No,
there's one kind of close, but yeah.
No, I'm totally kidding. But and you know what? Tell the people what you told me about him in this partnership. Like not taking the profits.
Oh, yeah. No, so thank you. I was like, what? He agreed to a 5-year pact to promote and appear at events for Red Lobster. Additionally, as I was reading the article, I found out that he did something similar for the women's water polo Olympic team. He said that these women are out here busting their butts, making the United States look good, chasing gold. They've won 3 back-to-back gold medals. My manager showed me their story, and my heart went out to these hardworking women.
I love Flavor Flav.
Yeah, no notes.
No, I've loved Flavor Flav since I used to watch Flavor of Love. And now if I went back and watched that, I don't know what like my mind would actually think.
Brigitte Nielsen, their romance is seared into my mind.
And that's where we met New York.
Yeah.
I love New York.
No, Flavor Flav has brought us nothing but joy and happiness, and he continues to do that.
He goes to the Eras tour and wears his clocks.
Right. I'm like, I don't have any notes for Flavor Flav, and you will never hear me say a bad word.
And he gets merch from Tass.
No.
Taylor Allison Swift herself.
I mean, Taylor loves a clock necklace. We've seen her wear it a couple times now, but so like
no,
that's her
really.
inspo. Flavor Flav was her inspo.
No. So yeah, just like shout out to Flavor Flav. Like that's just like people like always doing good. And I don't mean this in a rude way, but like he's not the richest celebrity.
No, for sure.
And so like you just see people that like, yeah, he has probably enough, but like to continue to give back where he could like honestly like make a ton of money off of it, exploit it, like blow it up, do different things. Like it's just like I have a lot of respect for people like that could definitely like use it to like be bigger. Like that's always the thing is like going after more money. So
right, could never make me hate Flavor Flav. Love him. And Red Lobster. So we're excited about this collaboration and his support of speaking of the Olympics, the trials were on. We missed those, which is fine, but some exciting news. I can't think of her name.
Simone Biles.
Exactly. The gymnastics. She's like the oldest lady to be an Olympic gymnastics person since like the 50s. Isn't that kind of wild? And she's only 27.
Yeah, no, it's literally they like ride you hard and then put you up wet because they don't pay these people.
Again, like the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders.
No, the Olympians are not paid. So if what you have to do is like you literally like sell everything you have basically to go and compete and hope you can score a deal. And if you can score a deal,
that's
like
where you make money.
That's where you make money. But then it's like longevity of that deal. I mean, look at Bruce / Caitlyn Jenner. Like when Caitlyn was Bruce, like Bruce had to he was still always having to market himself to pay for himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like we tell these people to like sacrifice their bodies for our country, but at what cost at the end? It's like honestly the same thing with the army. It's very American to sacrifice yourself and then like hope for the best.
In the name of what did they say? It's an honor. It's
an honor, privilege. A service, a privilege. It's very culty.
Yeah.
Americans,
cult vibes.
Americans culty. But no, literally, and it is like it is an honor. You're going to represent and like, but if you don't have even the talent team to like represent you post like.
It's probably
and like
not
you have to have money to have a talent team. Like honestly, you have to have money to start influencing. Like you can't just like start it from the ground. Like there's got to be back ends. Like so it's just there's always something there, and it's just sad. But did you see that her routine started with Taylor Swift and Taylor commented on the post?
I did, yeah.
I didn't know if that's where you're going.
No, but I love that.
Yeah, she what was it?
Are you ready for it?
I was ready for it. Yeah. I was like doing it in my head. And Taylor was like, we know she's ready for it. And I was like, oh God, I love her so much. She's so cringy. Her intern that does all of her comments.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Yeah, so there's that.
There is that. Our other rhyme of the day story.
Oh yeah, tell it.
So Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are reportedly selling off artwork from inside their $60 million mansion as they are potentially looking towards Splitsville.
Splitsville, yeah, that's wild. My first thought is, why did they put this beautiful photo of her at the beginning of the article? She's in this stunning pink dress. I've never really seen her in something like this, and I wish she wore things like this more.
No, I agree. It's beautiful on her. And it suits her.
It suits her because we always see we always have like a classic Jennifer Lopez. It's like Khloe Kardashian. She always wears a bodysuit and tight jeans. Jennifer Lopez is always wearing a crystal bodysuit that we can see through.
Yeah.
But and so like, I love that. She's beautiful. For sure. Show it off. And like, wow. Stunning.
No, it is. It is pretty.
Yeah, I mean, selling off your artwork is a very it's wild that you're selling off your artwork, and I guess it's maybe they bought it together, and so it's like, what's the point of having it? But also, like, if we bought that artwork, now it's mine.
No, certainly. But do you think there's a world in which?
Sadly, I think the artwork would have to be yours because I think you curated the house more than me. Because I was like, if I curated that house, it's my artwork, and I was looking around, I was like, Tanner curated that house.
Well, you had a lot of stuff, but yes, yeah, we were. That's never happening. But anyways,
that's never happening. But also,
so do you think there's a world in which they're maybe just selling this huge money pit of a mansion, and the artwork just doesn't work in their new home, and so they're like, let's get rid of it?
Yeah, I think you could do that, and also just like when you have money like that, you can always buy more.
Right. So it's like not as big of a, or like you're just like over it. You're like, okay, well, this seems chooky now.
Right. Or are you like selling artwork so you could buy like a more like whatever
expensive,
piece.
Prestigious, like Botticelli or something. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think that's the opera singer, but whatever.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Andre. Well, you said he was a painter, so I was closer than you.
No, that's fair. Andrew.
Andrew Bottles. Shelly. Mr. Petrocelli. Did you watch that on That's So Raven? That was a key scene of memory for me. Mr. Petrocelli. Mr. Petrocelli spit when he talked. And so Raven go, Mr. Petrocelli, and also spit. It was so funny. Oh, Raven Simone, she's a gag.
That's not her name, is it? Raven Simone?
Yeah, That's So Raven. Okay. It's the future I can see.
Okay, cool. I didn't think that was her first name, though.
Raven? Yeah, her name's Raven.
Okay, cool.
And her name in the show is Raven Baxter.
That's what it was. Okay. I was like, that's not the right name. I was thinking in the show terms. I was like, it's not Simone in the show. I was like, I don't think she used her name in the show. That's why I was like confused.
No, I was like, oh, okay. I understand what he's saying now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raven Baxter. Miss Baxter.
Yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't look good, but there could be a world in which they're just over this artwork, I guess, guys. Who knows? Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But with all the other smoke, there's potentially a fire.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. And guess what?
Tell me.
Nick Cannon explains why he insured his private parts for $10 million in case he burns, baby, burns. I'm just kidding. But they did explain why he had his private parts insured for $10 million.
Why?
Now I'm okay. Just like immediate thought.
Guttural reaction.
Like this is just his bit. Like his bit is like.
As someone who's read the article, I can confirm that's correct. But continue. What else?
Like I didn't read the article. Yeah, he's just like babies are his bit. He's like, yeah, this goes out to all my baby mamas. I got loves for all my baby mamas. Like that's just like Nick Cannon's bit. Like it is what it is. Like I think all the kids are taken care of.
Definitely, I would hope so.
Like,
all 12. He has 12.
I'm just like, what's there to say? Like all the kids are taken care of. It seems like most of the women are
Cheaper by the
genuinely
dozen
fine and
too.
happy. I always just forget Mariah Carey is the top of this food chain, and if I was Mariah Carey, I would be done with this man. I would just be like this man.
Yeah.
Like
I think they get along though. I think they actually have a great relationship. But
I know, but I would still be done. I would just be like, I'm good, no thank you, because I always forget Mama Mariah is at the top of this food chain.
Oh, definitely. But I think she knows that, and that's why she's like fine with it. She's like, all these other hoes wish like I'm Mariah freaking Carey.
Yeah, like this whole like because when I think about Nick Cannon, I think about like that Brie Tessie, not.
I don't even honestly know, but I know he has. Do you know why he did it though?
Why did he do it? What's the bit?
It was in partnership with a soap company.
It was what?
In partnership with a soap company, I think is what I read. Soap. I don't understand it, but yes, it is all a bit. It's just like to get his name out there and get the soap company some promotion. But I did have to also Google why do people, because I've heard of this before, people getting their body parts insured, like, you know, models, famous people will get certain things insured. And I'm like, what is the point?
Yeah. Did Khloe Kardashian get her butt insured?
I would hope so with a masterpiece like that.
The masterpiece.
So I am not an insurance agent. So I was like, why do people actually insure their body parts? So to supplement lost income if that body part is damaged, injured, scarred, handicapped, or lost.
Oh.
So if he needs a vasectomy, like he's covered.
That's great. It sounds like
it's
life insurance.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally just life insurance.
No, it's insuring a body part.
It's literally just his. It's just it's so wild. I'll get my boobs insured.
Yeah,
that way when I get them redone, that'll just be paid for. That is so smart. I'm gonna start now. Thank you, Nick Cannon. You're smarter than I knew.
Smarter than we knew. Now, the other thought I had while we were talking about him and his 12 children, if he doesn't own the rights to Cheaper by the Dozen, I'm upset because that's a reboot I would watch with all of his kids, like kind of a reality show version. Give me like a kind of docuseries 4-part version of Cheaper by the Dozen with Nick Cannon and all of his baby mamas.
Get a cameo of Mariah.
Obviously, she would have to be paid handsomely, but she would show up.
Just a cameo, just because she's so Mariah.
If the lighting's not right, she won't stay.
Mimi's emancipation. Yeah, Britney Spears talked about that in her book. I don't know if I've talked that about before on this podcast. But
well, I know you've told me, but I don't know about it on the pod.
Britney Spears said that Mariah Carey walked around with a ring light before anybody else knew what a ring light was. And she taught me about lighting, and I was like, that is so fabulous. And what I have to say is, I just wish a little bit. Actually, I won't say that. That's rude. Next story.
Okay, so we did talk about J-Lo being in her sheer era always. Someone else that's in their sheer era or pantsless era?
Oh, yes.
Paige DeSorbo.
Paige pantless DeSorbo. Paigey pantless. What isn't Paige in trouble for? Actually, I'm obsessed. This dress is causing controversy. I saw it and I loved it.
Okay, but for a wedding?
It's Italy.
Okay.
What are the other guests wearing? If this is a Kardashian wedding, this is perfect.
No, I agree. I think if the bride saw it or like gave like specific instructions, it's fine. Now, if it's my wedding, Paige, don't you dare. Yeah, don't you dare.
Don't you dare. But also this is Italy, like legs out.
I don't care. Even if we get married in Italy, don't you dare. Be in a full length dress. Not even full length, but I don't need to see your like underwear through your dress.
That's fair. Okay. I think if it was just a little bit more like dark up top.
Yeah, it's very sheer. It's not even just sheer on the bottom, it's sheer on the top. It's like sheer everywhere. Like she has on underwear with like a sheer like corset over top of herself at a wedding. And people are outraged. I'm not outraged because like you said, what if this was the vibe of the wedding? What if this was like what the bride wanted her to wear? Because I think Paige is probably, if she's friends with these people and she's friends with this girl, she's going to be like, hey girl, what about this dress? Do you like this one? Like, I feel like she sent it to her beforehand.
That's what I think too. That's the reason I was just like, what's the problem? People always get their panties in a wad. Paige's can't be because we can see through it.
No, they're not in a wad.
Paige is never getting her panties in a wad in this sheer dress because, honey, we see it. We see it. Her panties are never in a wad. And people always just get their panties in a wad over stuff. I'm just like, because honestly, I wouldn't care if Paige wore that to my wedding. I'd just be like, okay. Like if it was a wedding in Italy and I was Paige's friend. So I'm thinking about it too in the scenario. If this is my wedding and expensive, like what am I also going to look like? Fabulous. Like I just like, she wouldn't one up me. Like I just like, like who cares?
Yeah. No, like I said, I feel like she probably cleared it with the bride, but we'll listen on Giggly Squad and see, because this was like one of the top stories on page 6. So she'll have to speak about it.
Yeah, I like it.
So much it puts you to right to sleep.
I am yawning. And you know what?
Huh?
Also someone being criticized.
Who?
Zac Efron. His fans are confused by the actor's appearance in a new Netflix movie with Nicole Kidman as they question his different face. Okay, I believe Zachary has gone way too far in the filler diller worlds. He has. He's done too much. And just like I said, Kylie looked crazy and her filler migrated yesterday. Same to you, Zachy Poo.
I would venture to say yes, for sure. Potentially, I wouldn't even be surprised if he had like implants. Like some of the stuff in his face doesn't even look like it could just be filler. Like there's a chin implant in there, in my opinion. There's like some jaws cooking. Like
oh yeah,
he's definitely had something done. And this has been like a continuing story, like headline for Zac over the last, I would say 2 years, where he's like done certain things and like people are like, wow, what happened to him? Because he used to be the cutest, sweetest boy.
Yeah, and like people do grow up. Like we're not saying people don't grow up, but
sure.
like Google his picture, and that's not get your head in the game.
No, it's not just aging. Because help me, Lord. I actually saw an article about Travis Kelce, which also kind of made me cringe. They showed like a picture of him from 10 years ago at the first start of his football tenure to now. And they were like, how does he look so different? Which he did. And they were just like, honestly, it's aging. And people are like, he looks so much better. You know, we don't think looks better when they age? Women. So it's interesting to see like Zac take a stance against aging and like do certain things, it seems to me. But I think he's gone too far.
I think he's gone too far too. And you know what? Like I agree. Like your face changes a lot. Like my early 20s face and like even like high school face is not the same face. Like Tanner tells that all the time.
No, for sure.
Tanner thought I had plastic surgery.
Yeah, and I've known her my whole life.
He was like, what do you think I have done?
I thought you had a nose job, and like I thought you got like lip filler. I was like, yeah, like your eyes just look different, like everything. I'm just like, they're all the same person.
Same person. I can only guarantee you that I get Botox. I get how many units in between my forehead?
No idea. 20?
I don't know. I get like, it's like almost 20 in between my brows, my glabella or whatever. I don't know what that's called. And then the rest of my forehead gets the rest of the units. Yeah.
And you were mewing your life away and just changing your face structure. I don't know. Allegedly.
Mewing my life away. Also, just like Tanner noticed that I had
gua sha
lips.
Stones.
I do gua sha. And Tanner noticed I had lips for the first time. Like.
Well, that's true.
Anyways. Is there anything else that's like really like speaking to you, tickling your fancy? Oh, we did watch Bravo's like Watch What Happens Live 15
that
years.
Didn't really speak to me or tickle
honestly,
my
it
fancy.
Didn't speak to me at all. I thought it was gonna be so exciting, and I thought it was gonna be more. I thought Paige and Craig were gonna be there. I thought it was gonna be more like a Bravo. Do you know
Paige have shown up in pants?
No,
Did
Paige,
she show up in pants?
She wore shorts with Craigie.
I figured.
Yeah, Paige wore shorts, and they what I was gonna say is I thought it was gonna be more like when they did like Bravo whatever last year.
BravoCon?
Yeah, and they did like that little like show of like whatever years of Bravo. Like I thought it was gonna just be a little bit more production instead of like seats in the clubhouse. But like it makes more sense that it was seats in the clubhouse. I do understand it, but like 15 years, we could have done something. This is a celebration. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think we could have changed it up a little bit more. And like some of the guests I was confused by, like no offense to either of these people, but I didn't need Jerry O'Connell on my screens or Jeff Lewis. I'm like, no offense to them, but they are not like housewives. Like you need to honor these women who like have built this brand, and like it should all just be housewives in my opinion.
No, I do agree, because like they're the reason we have Watch What Happens Live.
Literally, without them, you don't have a late night talk show that you created for yourself, Andy. So what are we doing?
Right. And I get that those two guys are a part of the Bravo
Let them
brand
be
as a
in
whole.
the bar with your parents, though.
Right. They can be in the bar.
They can be in the bar with your parents.
So that was our take on that.
That was our take. Tonight we're gonna watch Clipped.
Clipped.
Hulu. If you're not watching, get caught up. It's really good.
It's so good. It's Stiviano.
I know, we're kind of like in our sports ball era.
I know. I never do. I like sports ball.
Me either.
You know how to ball on a
I like anything if there's a little mess involved, so
No, that's true. Women's basketball has been that way too. That's been good. Like women's basketball.
I'm ready for the documentary about that.
And men's basketball is messy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Anyways. Well, thanks so much for listening to the Couples Couch podcast, where we give our clickbait culture stories and everything in between. We are Tanner and KB Cunningham, and you can find us anywhere where you listen to your podcast, whether that's Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and anywhere in between. And if you're not already following us on social media, please go there. And we are at the Couples Couch podcast. Okay, love you.
Bye.